Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hello, IT Nation. I'm Corey Lehman, and I am here with Andrea Barrow and Sean Lardo, both from ConnectWise. And we are here to talk about IT Nation Connect, which is coming up very quickly, but also my favorite part of IT Nation Connect, which is our IT Nation Gives service project. So, Andrea, can you tell us a little bit about what we're doing this year? Because I'm super excited.
Absolutely, Corey. Thank you so much. I too am super excited. So for those of you who may not be familiar with what IT Nation Gives, it's our opportunity to implement a charitable activity right at the beginning of IT Nation Connect every year. We select an organization that aligns to the ConnectWise philanthropic pillars and creates an opportunity for participants to get involved and do a little give back before the main event kicks off. So this year, we are actually able to do things a little bit differently and make IT Nation Gives bigger than ever. So I'm pumped to share that we are supporting a group called K9s For Warriors this year. And we have come up with a variety of different ways for attendees to participate and give back for a really incredible cause.
Yeah, that's true. Like in the past, we've only ever done kind of a one afternoon. We spend a couple hours doing a service project. We're all like, woohoo, we did something. Right. And then we go about our day. Sean, have you ever participated in an IT Nation Gives project before?
I shaved my face last year. I don't know. That was a days and days. Yeah, I would. I would hope so.
Good thing, yeah.
No, but I actually did. Not just that though. I did that actually at Evolve. I did the backpack stuffing at the Evolve in Denver last year, and then the bike build as well at Connect last year, I think it was. So
you're an IT Nation Gives frequent flyer.
Somehow I just followed everybody to the place. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Let's go do this. I mean, that was really I have, and I like doing it. I think you only have a few things in life that you get to really something bigger than yourself, right? And these are things that are always bigger than yourself. And I loved you. I've been coming to IT Nation Connect long before I worked for ConnectWise, and so I've done it even before I worked at ConnectWise. I would involve myself if you guys have anything going on, and like anytime you have dogs or puppies to pet, I'm like Elmira. So
it just makes the whole day better.
Yeah.
Makes
Doesn't it?
Spoiler alert on that. We're gonna have opportunities to do just that, Sean. So
I'm in. I think it's why I agreed to do this. I was like, yes.
You mentioned the beard shave last year that we did, and IT Nation and the channel, y'all raised, what was it, Sean, like $150,000?
$207,000.
Yeah, over 200. Yeah.
We were trying to get. We were like when I sat with Matt Lee and Ian Richardson and in the first days of it, and they were like, well, we're thinking like maybe 50 grand or something. Like we're throwing numbers out that seem practical, right? And then we're like, oh, okay, we'll do 100,000. That's what we'll do, 100,000. And that seems practical also. And then literally it snowballed and it was like out of control.
All right. Well, we need that this year because we have a $50,000 goal to raise money for K9s For Warriors. We're actually going to bring on some special guests here in a minute from the organization who are going to be able to tell their stories. But we need all of you out there listening. We need your money. You need to donate to this cause. We've got to raise at least $50,000 for this cause. So, we'll put the link right there. You'll be able to click and get to the donation site so you can donate, start bringing those dollars in. Andrea, do you want to walk us through some of the things we're doing on site? Because like we kind of teased, there's so much more than a one-day thing.
There is. Yeah, absolutely. So on the note of the monetary donations, for those of you who are joining us today, so I'll kind of understand where we're at. We're at $4,500 right now. So really, really trying to reach at least, I'm going to go with 7,000 by the end of this stream. So
I think Sean said he's going to match every donation that comes in during this live stream. I think he told me that.
Why do I always get volunteered for stuff?
Sean, you are getting volunteered for quite a bit. So I will put this out there. If we can get to $7,000 by the end of this stream, Sean will run the 5K fun run that we are having in a banana suit. He will then, at 1 mile, at mile 2, he will then put on a rucksack and run another mile. For the last mile of the 5K, he will smoke a cigar. And then for the last 0.2, I will put him on my back and carry him over. It's win, 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 win.
All right, 7,000. I mean, somebody can do that in one fell swoop. Come on.
I think so.
Can we just acknowledge that Corey cackled at your joke, like how evil this was, and why is your responsibility only the 0.2?
Because that's what I'm able to do. Yeah.
I thought this was I don't know if I'm able to do anything you said. The only thing I know I can do is smoke a cigar and put a banana suit on.
There you go.
Everything else, I'm not quite sure of.
You got it. So, but to get back on track, so for those monetary donations, the link to donate is on the stream here. Additionally, when you go to that page, you can actually see what the dollar amount you are contributing is going for. So it's pretty cool. If you donate $100, you are supplying 1 month of peanut butter to some of the rescue dogs in the shelter. So just think about that when you're deciding what your donation amount is going to be, and you can see the true impact it will have. So outside of dollars,
peanut butter.
Oh,
that's a nice transition.
What a good segue, Corey. Man, as if we rehearsed this. That was good. So speaking of peanut butter, in addition to donations, yes, that's important, but also we are doing some activities on site to help get the community involved. We know how incredible the IT Nation community is, and we want to see you all come together in the form of making dog treats with peanut butter, rolled oats, and honey. So on Wednesday, November 8th from 12 to 12:30 p.m., we will be making dog treats on site at IT Nation Connect. You can register ahead of time during your registration process. Come together, make some peanut butter treats, put a cooler for our K9s For Warriors representatives who are going to be on site. And then those treats are going to go up to Jacksonville, where the K9s For Warriors headquarters is, and supply the shelter dogs with treats. Our goal is to make 500. So I think that is totally attainable. We can do it. No problem.
I heard Sean's going to make all 500 himself, I think he said.
There's a lot of rumors about Sean happening with this. So.
I wonder who started those.
I don't know. It wasn't first heard here, though. I know.
No, definitely not made up.
It was first said here. Not even heard here. Literally said for the first time here.
Hey, the grapevine. I don't know.
0.2.
Andrea, if I'm on site at IT Nation Connect, I can just pull up, make a couple treats, go on with my day, right?
Of course. Yeah. You can come in, make 10, leave, make 2.
Tons of people can get involved.
In and out. I would love to have you there for the whole time, but I know it's a busy time, so.
The only caution, people maybe if they have a peanut allergy, stay away. But other than that,
we will have peanut butter. Yeah, good call there.
Good. Yes.
Yeah.
And then the next day,
the man of the hour, Sean, running in his banana suit. We have a 5K fun run happening on Thursday, November 9th, bright and early at 7 a.m. I want to iterate that this is a fun run. It's a distance. It's not a race. So there may be some activities the night before that keep you up late or keep you up until the 5K. Totally okay. We'd love to have you join us. Come out, show your support. Recommended donation amount is $25 per runner. But this is actually the inaugural official 5K that we've ever done at Connect. So be a part of it.
Being asked for it for years.
We have.
We're excited.
We have. So hope to see you bright and early. Look out for Sean in his banana suit.
I'm going on Amazon right now.
Excellent. Next up, happening on Thursday as well, from 11:45 a.m. until 12:05 p.m. Eastern, in the Marketplace Theater, we're actually going to be joined by some warriors who are going to be doing a speaking session. K9s For Warriors has an incredible impact, not only on the warriors that they are serving, but also on the rescue dogs that they are saving too. So we're going to have some warriors on site. During the session, they'll tell their story, share with you their journey with working with K9s For Warriors. And I promise you, I've had an opportunity to meet with a few of these warriors, and their stories are truly amazing. So I cannot encourage you enough to come hear from these folks and truly understand the mission of this organization and the impact you're making by helping support this organization.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we're going to get a little sneak peek in just a minute here.
We are. So
one more thing to talk about for
more.
Connect, and then we are going to bring up our special guest.
We are. So last thing, we are having dogs on site. Yes, we cannot have an IT Nation Connect without featuring cute little canines. This year, we're actually going to have some doggies who are in training. So these are actual rescue dogs who are going through K9s For Warriors training and will be assigned to a veteran in need in the future. So on site, you can expect an opportunity to get some FaceTime and some love from some of these pups. We'll have some trainers on site so they can actually demonstrate the different tactics and skills that these dogs are learning to help best serve the veteran that they're paired with. So it's a pretty cool opportunity to kind of not only get up and close with their puppies, because I know we love that, but also see the different types of trainings that these dogs are going through. And that's happening on Friday, November 10th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. So
perfect. All right. So I'm checking. We're still at $4,500. So Sean, I guess nobody wants to see you in a banana suit. Can't imagine why, but
yes, I'm good with that. But yes, Kyle, somebody mentioned banana suit.
But why don't we stop talking and bring out our special guests, Danny and James. Can we get them out here?
Yep.
Make sure you guys unmute yourself too, because we're about to get started.
Hello, everyone. I'm Danny.
How you doing? I'm James.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Would one of you, does somebody want to start and tell us a little bit about your story, how you got involved in the organization and what it means to you, and get these people to donate some money?
You want to start with you, Danny?
That's not an issue.
You looked eager to get started. Like James, like, yeah, Danny should start. Like that's the
one. Well, yeah, my journey is just it's a little bit long, but so I'm an Army veteran. I retired in 2017. When I retired, I didn't know what was happening to me. I was like pretty much isolating from my family, friends, just lost interest in a lot of things. I ended up actually isolating within my garage for the next 5 years, trying to figure out how to even understand how to, I guess you would say, live as a normal person outside of the military, with everything I was seeing over multiple deployments. I went through my own little journey through the VA and did everything that I possibly could to start standing on my feet, but things didn't really go as planned until I decided that I needed to get back into the camaraderie and giving back to something that was bigger than myself. Luckily for me, I found K9s For Warriors, and they took a chance on me and made me a warrior trainer. So what James and I do is we train every single veteran that comes through our program on how to live and depend and handle their service dogs. With that said, once I started actually, training veterans and having warriors and seeing them contact us after classes to live their best lives, I actually put in an application for myself. So because of that, I went through class in June, July, and ended up with Private here, which is my lifelong battle buddy, and he's actually a part of me now. What I've seen with canines, and also having a unique perspective of, being a trainer of the Warriors and also a graduate of the program that we teach, is the big thing is just learning that there are organizations out there. There's people like myself and James, the people that are watching this live stream, and yourselves. Okay, there are people there to support every single one of us. One of the biggest things that I get from canines is this is part of my journey, my therapy, is remembering that even though I'm not in the military, I can still provide something back to this community. I may not be able to change the world, but I can help every single veteran get a step ahead along the way. And if it wasn't for canines, giving me the opportunity to show the leadership skills that I once had when I wore the uniform, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, conquering some goals. Haven't done anything water related in over a decade. I just took my children by myself to a lake with private, and we conquered that goal. Went to go see a movie, finally, Disney movie nonetheless, but saw a movie out in public. But with that said, as you can see, when private feels me, he just, he gets close and he allows me to calm down and be able to, I guess you would say, do events like this. So my journey really is just trying to get over the symptoms of PTSD and finding a way to actually, give back in just a small way of allowing veterans to go live their best lives.
So you became an instructor before you actually became a participant.
Yes, sir. I found that yeah, well, through my treatment and journey, I found that got myself strong enough that I was okay if I went out in public in a group setting. And what better group setting than my brothers and sisters in arms and fellow veterans? So I didn't know if I was ready to go through the program as an actual warrior student, but as I stated, after a few months of doing the job and giving back and doing a few events actually to speak to different organizations, I finally have a purpose again. And because I have a purpose, I'm able to do these things because of my battle buddy private right here. So I wasn't able to receive private unless there were donations like what we're trying to achieve today. So, it needs to be understood that every single one of these service dogs that K9s For Warriors pulls from the shelter and issues to the actual warrior himself is at no cost to the warrior. So this is a life-changing event that shows every single warrior that they do have that strength. They just need to have the support that's required and actually to be able to stand up. If that makes sense.
That's awesome.
Yes,
And
well done.
so Private was a shelter dog that, right? He was like a pound puppy that got rescued as well. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Well, Private is not actually one of the shelter dogs. So right now, as of right now, between our campuses on San Antonio and in Florida, we're a little over 60% of all dogs issued are from the kennels, due to the amount of applicants and warriors waiting to come to class. Many times K9s For Warriors partners with another organization named MSAR, and we will acquire dogs from there if need be, if the warrior needs a special type of support, because not every warrior has the exact same disability. So with that said, the history of Private is actually he's from Israel. So he was born and bred in Israel, came through Canada, and ended up with me. And the day that I met him, he gave me the most confused look in the world, which made me remind me of my soldiers when I was in the military. So I named him Private.
So you were an NCO, as I'm assuming.
Yes. So
Wow.
my last position, I was a first sergeant in the Army. So I had quite a few people that I had to mentor and be there for, and and the job that James and I do. James can attest to this. Just like being in the military, all we're doing is taking care of people. That's all we do.
I figured it'd be an NCOIC considering it's private right off the bat, and there's nobody saying private other than NCOICs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is.
It's one of your favorite words. I want his other
Yes.
one, but we can't say those ones on live stream. So
And James, what about you? What's your story?
So, I did 8 years in the Marine Corps. I met my wife, who is also a veteran. She was in the Air Force. We got married, but she had some medical issues while she was in. So she also she has severe PTSD, like myself, severe anxiety, like a lot of the warriors we see every month that come through here. But I used to be a ride mechanic after I got out of the Marines at Busch Gardens up in Virginia. COVID hit, we got furloughed. I lost my job. And that sent me down a pretty dark path that I don't, talk too much about, because, it just wasn't a place that I want to go back to. It was a rough time. I was hurting financially. I'm originally from the Jacksonville area. So, You know, I knew Wounded Warrior Project was down here, which is another great organization. But, you know, when my wife and I talked, you know, Virginia was bad with COVID and everything was shutting down. And, you know, I wanted to find somewhere where I could get employment without having to jump through hoops because, you know, with everything being shut down, I didn't have a job. So we made the choice to move back to Florida, and I found out K9s For Warriors was also down here. So I found a hiring event they had in downtown Jacksonville. With my maintenance background, I didn't initially come in as a warrior trainer like Danny did. You know, I was actually part of our maintenance team. I got hired on with maintenance, but I saw the job posting for warrior trainer, and I talked to a bunch of the warrior trainers that were here before me, and I got to learn about the position and learn what they did, and I realized that's where I wanted to be. You know, being able to help fellow veterans, not even ones just that I served with, but it's ones that served before us, after us, you know, during our time. And our mission here hits home for me because, you know, we're trying to get that number that continues to grow every day of veteran suicide. And my dad was a Navy veteran. My dad also succumbed to suicide. So this mission is near and dear to my heart. I've also had another family member that has also succumbed to suicide. But once I hit my 90-day mark, I was able to look at other positions within the organization. And warrior trainer had an open position. I applied for it, and you know, the director of warrior operations, he is also a fellow Marine, contacted me, told me how much he wanted me over there, because being in maintenance, we're problem solvers. That's what we do. You know, we find a problem and we fix it. So, you know, a lot of the work we do is problem solving as a warrior trainer. You know, you get a warrior come to you, hey, my dog's doing this, figure out what we can do to fix it. Or the warrior struggling with other personal issues, you know, we find ways to help that warrior out. You know, it's not, okay, let them be. You know, I was an NCO in the Marines. I made the rank of corporal. I didn't go any further because my injuries I've had. But, you know, I led Marines. I know how it is to, you know, be a leader. And, you know, a lot of our team here, you know, they come to me for a lot of things because, you know, they trust me and they know my leadership skills and the way I do things. But it's a teamwork. It's all about our team here. It's not just our team here. It's a team in San Antonio as well. You know, we bounce ideas off of each other. Mm-hmm. But I came over here, and officially this month of November coming up it's pretty much, I just hit my 1-year mark here as a warrior trainer. And being able to be a part of this organization is, you know, it's a godsend. I mean, I'm beyond blessed to be here. You know, it's like Danny said, he put it perfectly. You know, it's something that's bigger than us. And I can tell you, you know, since I've been out of the Marines, you know, my job at Busch Gardens was the longest job I had since I got out. And I've been out since 2012. And that was for maybe 4 or 5 years. I bounced from job to job because I never found a sense of belonging. Now I am 38 years old. It took me 37 years, you know, to find my true calling. And that's where I'm at right now. You know, being able to come in every day, go home, and not have that stress from, you know, I don't like my job, or I'm having issues with people at my job, or anything like that. You know, they say you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. It took me 37 years to find that. I love what I do day in and day out. You know, when I had to leave maintenance to come over to warrior training side, I hired a Navy veteran, and he came in and he's like, man, everyone's smiling. I was like, how can you not smile? One, knowing our mission, knowing what we're accomplishing here. And two, getting to be around dogs all day. You know, I haven't benefited from the program yet myself. I am looking at that in the future, but, you know, I have 3 dogs of my own at home. So, you know, I have, you know, I love animals. I love, you know, my son loves them, but it's one of those things that, you know, I know if I had a stressful day at home, I can go home and I can rely on, I know one of my dogs, because he feels me. He knows, like Danny said with Private, you know, the dogs, when you build that bond with them, it's not about you have your battle buddy. It's not just a battle buddy. It's not just a pet. It's a service dog. They feel your emotions. Like when we tell the Warriors every day that if you're having a bad day, that's going to feed down your leash to your dog, because they can feel that emotion from yourself, especially if you have a strong bond. And it's one of those things that, we tell each and every class that, you're going to have bad days. Your dog's going to have bad days, just like we do. It's about how you overcome those bad days and push through it. One of our big things we do here is, and Danny can attest to it, is pushing these Warriors outside of their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these veterans that suffer from PTSD, they don't want to be out around a lot of people because, it's just too much for them. Their anxiety picks up. Trust me, I've been down that road. I can push through it. One, I do a lot with my wife and my son. My son is 13 years old, and he can pick up on me having an issue. He'll come up to me, "Hey, Dad, let's go walk outside for a little bit. Let's get a breath of fresh air." If I'm getting kind of high anxiety, he picks up on those things. Here, when I go out with the Warriors, I'm out with fellow veterans. I'm out with my team. The team I'm a part of is amazing. And, they help us. If I'm having a bad day, they're like, "Hey, James, let's let us handle this. We'll take care of it." They pick up on those things. And that's what we're there for. We're there for one another. We're there for these Warriors. And, being able to help them out day in and day out, month after month. Like I said, this last year has been amazing. Being able to see, when I first started, we hit our 800th Warrior. Earlier this was it towards the end of summer, Danny, we hit 900.
Yes, sir.
And now we're looking at possibly February, March timeframe of hitting our 1,000th Warrior.
Wow.
And we have graduated over 130 Warriors this year alone. And we're not even done yet. We still got 2 months.
Wow. That's amazing. With just hearing your 2 stories, I can't even imagine hearing all 130 of those and then compounding that over each year. That's really inspiring and amazing.
If I may caveat off something James just said, I just would like everybody to understand, and that's listening right now and watching us, is that when it comes to K9s For Warriors, it's not like every other organization. From what I've seen, and it may be a little biased. You see what I have on my chest, but at the end of the day, when it comes to K9s For Warriors, it's a lifelong commitment. And what I mean by that is every single dog that is adopted through the shelter or acquired through a partner organization that's assisting and training service dogs. If that service dog cannot continue through our training and cannot be a service dog, we'll find them a job. They will be a station dog for emotional support in fire departments, police departments. We've given up dogs for bomb sniffing, changed their dogs for that, their jobs to that. And if we cannot find them any other dog, then the dog will stay with K9s For Warriors until they found them happy. It's the same thing with every veteran that comes through. Every warrior that graduates from our program becomes a part of our family. So if a graduate, it could be 10 years from now. If they call us and I'm there and one of us is there, we will support them. It is a lifelong commitment, because what we say at K9s is we save 2 lives with 1 leash. That's what we do.
So awesome.
I do I'm sorry to interrupt. I do like something, James, you pointed out, and actually Danny, you touched it, but that camaraderie piece and the bigger than yourself thing. I think that's the thing I ended up missing after I left. Right, you're used to, these are your people right there. You can act and do whatever you want, but when it's time to actually go to work, it's time to go to work, and you build that relationship. I ended at E5. I couldn't go any further. I was done. But when I was younger, and I remember my NCO, my section sergeant, he was like, "Hey, you know what? How many of your people next to you do you know about their life?" And in the military, the one thing you lose when you're in corporate America compared to military is you actually know their families, or what's going on regardless, because it is that vital. You do become family regardless. So I like that. I didn't think of the camaraderie element of the classes, even of you guys all being together. And I think that's fantastic. That's actually that's self-serving within itself, I feel like.
Well, I would say, Sean, if you don't mind, James, I'm gonna just caveat to this, but that's part of our program. I mean, the program is a 21-day program that warriors from all over the place, as far as Guam, Hawaii. I mean, we have Puerto Rico, warriors from Puerto Rico that show up to the program. But at the end of the day, they come and they stay with us for 21 days. Reason they do that is not just so they can bond wholeheartedly with the service dog that they've been placed with, because James and I, we can teach commands over Zoom. We don't need to be in person to teach
Right.
commands. But as they come to us and they stay on our campuses, they remember what that camaraderie is. After about 48 hours, they start loosening up and joking. And then James and I sometimes have to say, whoa, 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 we're not in the barracks, slow down. So but at the end of the day, every single warrior, doesn't matter if it's a male, female class or what service it is, once they see and they start remembering what it is to be in that community, then the classes normally calm down and everybody starts having fun and everyone goes, through our process and goes to live their best life to the best of their abilities.
Yeah, I love that. I literally, as you were saying, it made me think of that, because there's just a different life. It's a completely different lifestyle. And people that never served don't understand the difference in the two. So I love the friendship and the bonds you guys all have.
One of the things, we provide is, I like the way one of our deputy director of Warrior Ops says it. We offer wraparound services.
Yeah.
So as Danny says, they're not done when they leave here. They are family. But we also have a resource team here that if a warrior needs help with something, if they need their driveway or house power wash, they're gonna help them find the resources, or someone that offers those services to veterans, or to help them out. I mean, we don't turn veterans away, even if they don't qualify for our program. If there's resources out there that our team can help them with, they're going to do that. We've also recently started partnering better with Wounded Warrior Project. Their resource team is huge, but we utilize our resource team to contact with them to get these resources all together, to help these warriors out. They're not done, once they leave here. They do their recertifications. Just today, we had 6 warriors, one of which was from Puerto Rico, that came on campus and did 6 recertifications today. And it's, they got to maintain their certifications every 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 years, as long as they're a working team. So, we maintain that. We maintain contact. Our outreach team maintains contact. They do, check-ins to see how the warriors and the dogs are doing, to make sure everything's going good. If there are training issues, we have training liaisons that help with training issues that may come up while they're at home. And, it's that whole wraparound service that we offer makes us set apart from other organizations.
So ongoing training, ongoing certifications. So you mentioned they're in it for life, right?
Yes.
And what do you guys have to provide for ongoing? Is there specific things other than the certifications? That's an obvious answer, right? But like, what does your typical engagement look like with the veterans? I mean, and I'm sure some maybe need more handholding than others, or whatever, need more help. So
I mean, while they're here, we try, if we start seeing dogs form certain issues while they're in class, we try and head that off here, try and stop that as early as possible with our training team. But once they leave here, they're again, the constant contact, we stay in touch with them. So with our warrior outreach team, they make those contacts, and that's how a lot of the issues we find out. But we do offer, we have our training liaisons that will set up training plans for the warriors and the dogs to help them out and get them, hopefully get them back to where they need to be. But if it's beyond that, sometimes we may have to hire a third-party trainer that we vet out before we, set them up with the veteran.
Okay. So you're providing maintenance
Yes.
on call 24/7 almost.
Oh, yes.
Essentially. I mean, because you're talking about a human element, so you can't control times things happen, or if it's something that happens a week after they leave your location and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
after they leave our location, Sean, excuse me, like James said, our outreach department, they have certain milestone timelines that they'll contact the veteran. The veteran has to contact our outreach people. Now, what we can provide for them after they graduate and they leave us, So it's a variety of things. Like James said, if we provide advice on how to further train their dog, there's an issue, K9s for Warriors will get them a third-party trainer at no cost to the veteran. If each one of our campuses and teams have duty phones, if a veteran is having a really tough time and he calls that duty phone at 1 a.m. and whoever has a duty phone will be on there to talk to he or she if they need to speak to someone, and then we'll get the resources that they need by calling our national headquarters in Florida. So just like James said earlier, this is just like leading once again. Once they leave, they can call back at any given time to receive whatever support they need. If we've had veterans call back, say that they're in a bad position where they're about to be homeless with their dogs, and K9s have got them with an organization to help them find places and pay their rent. A big thing is that a lot of across the nation, people are not fully educated on the ADA laws, Americans with Disabilities Act, and how that operates. So many times we'll receive a phone call from one of our graduates, and they've been denied service somewhere where they're not supposed to be denied. K9s For Warriors has a whole legal department that reaches out to that establishment to find out exactly what the issue was. So again, once they this is not a program or an organization where we say, hey, this dog is not working out, back to the shelter, or hey, here's your dog, Warrior, you graduated and have a good life. No, we are with them as long as they need us. So even though they graduate and leave us, we still have veterans that once they reach their goals, they start texting pictures back to the phone. I've seen veterans with their dogs on surfboards in California. I've seen dogs with headphones on at the symphony. So again, we continually support every single graduate, every single veteran that calls throughout this whole process. And if ever a day they have to retire their service dog, or God forbid it passes away, they are able to come right back through the program, and we'll issue another dog once they are ready. So
Right.
just to answer your question, Sean, yes, we don't just handle with the dogs. Is once they graduate with us, we'll handle everything that's within our means to handle for them.
That's amazing. And yeah, the picture, we spoke with one of your warriors a couple weeks ago, Joe. That man has a billion pictures of everything. And I think it was the most amazing thing is he said like he had not gone anywhere for years. And meanwhile, in 1 year time of him having his dog, literally, I think he's been across the entire world. I feel like there, I couldn't look at all the pictures. Because I had to go back to work. I had to actually do stuff. That's how many pictures there were, but it was like, it seemed like to me, like he had been doing that collection of pictures felt like 5 years of pictures for him. And it was 1 year. And it's like he was living his best life all of a sudden.
That's the goal.
Right. I think that's fantastic. I mean, and that's great. And I like that you're providing after services too. I like, and in fact, you even said illegal too, because even I had some people that didn't serve in the military and realize how important that is, how tone deaf we are to what it is. Like, I mean, I came back from a deployment, I went back in the civilian world, and they were like, yeah, no, you can't work here anymore. And because I went National Guard after active duty, and I had a deployment for 9/11. And I came back to my job. They're like, yeah, we can't see you for at least 6 months. We don't have anywhere for you. And I was like, what do you mean? I work here. And I'm like, yeah, 6 months. So I made a phone call, and like, and people don't realize the power of that, by the way.
Yes,
I know within 45 minutes, I remember the guy I talked to, he goes, hold on. He calls me like, your boss will be calling you in a few minutes. And like literally within 45 minutes, like, oh yeah, we have a position for you. Yeah, come on back. Like, but we're completely tone deaf to these things.
So, and that's why I stated when I first started answering that question was that, there are a lot of organizations out there, and, some are type of organizations where they do provide service dogs. But again, where we stand out is as soon as that application is in our database from start to finish, even when they get home, whenever they need us, the whole K9s For Warriors organization will be there. That is just the way we are. And that is the atmosphere of our organization. So
I love that. And I think it's important that what I learned from doing this is that from dealing with you all is 25K is the number for a dog. All right. Yes. 25,000 gets the dog. So yes. If you want, so if everybody wants to save a dog to then save a warrior, 25,000 is the number.
Private costs more than my car, Sean. Yes.
I understand. I understand. Oh,
So
there's
lucky me. Yeah.
you just have to go to the lemon lot and buy. That's
Yeah.
all. That's the one thing I miss about Post. There's no lemon lot for me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Andrea, what a lemon lot is all the poor suckers that buy vehicles and then get deployed and can't do anything with it. They literally throw their car on a parking lot and it's every owner selling it, and it's you buy a car for like half the price because they're desperate to get rid of it. Because like we're going to Korea, I only see you in a year, Yeah, so no,
The good old days, James.
Yeah.
That was a good right. I live in Pittsburgh. There's not a single lemon. If it's a lemon lot, they literally are selling lemons. It's a problem, And yeah, I miss those days. I bought my first really good car on the lemon lot in Fort Bragg. I miss those days.
So, we talk about the Warriors. We also have our advocacy team that deals with the advocates of the Warriors. So one thing with this is a story I've been told by one of our advocates. So we had a wife of one of our Warriors came through. She called after her husband returned home with the service dog and said, 20 years ago, I married my best friend, which was her husband. It's been 18 years since, his first deployment, but now that he has his service dog, she is constantly thanking K9 For Warriors for giving her husband back. Because she says she lost her husband for 18 years because of what he's been through, from his deployments and everything. And now she has her husband back. And that's one of the, feel good stories from of the many that I've heard.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that, James. Yeah.
So
we've all been living that, especially with the Warriors that have come to graduate.
It's amazing. We had one of my first classes, the Warrior. We take them, like I said, we push them outside their comfort zone. So one of our training evolutions, we take them to one of the local malls here. And I remember this Warrior because it was one of my first classes as a Warrior trainer. As soon as we walked in the mall, the Warrior broke down. We got him to push himself, get himself recomposed. We stepped outside, recomposed himself. He came back in and finished the training because, we want to push him outside that comfort zone, get him back to a new sense of normalcy. We're never going to be back to normal. There's no such thing, but it gives them that sense of normalcy. I saw this Warrior recently because he was here for his ambassador training, and he told me that he left in November after graduation before Thanksgiving. In December, he was able to go to his first Christmas parade with his family in his town. That's something that he has never done before. And he has formed a bond so well with his dog that she has started to wake him up in the middle of the night when he has night terrors. That's not something we train our dogs for.
Nope.
It's about building that bond. And when you build that bond with that dog, they can read your body language and read what you're going through and feel what you're going through. And something like that, like I said, we don't teach the dogs that. It's something they pick up on. And the more they're around it, they know they can sense it. And, she was able to wake up that Warrior and out of a night terror.
So I want to visit real quick something you said there, and this will be reminiscent of all of us what we've experienced, right? You talk about the Warrior going into the mall. When we were serving, the line would have been suck it up and drive on, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean that would have been what you said as first sergeant. That's for damn sure, right? And so
probably not in those exact words, but
I was about to say yes.
Well, yeah. Well, again, we're on a live stream. I believe me, I have to select my vernacular anyway. And Andrea knows she works with me every day, so she knows my vernacular. Reason why I'm saying that is because for both of you, we don't reach out for help usually, right? Now we have to go through the out processing when you're coming out of. You have to get your box checked, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only. But you aren't really looking for that. That's just you have to go through the checklist. So what I'd be curious, and James, I'll start with you since you were talking last. Even what made you decide to have an outreach for help even when you did this? I know you work for them, but like, what was the defining moment for you?
Honestly, I mean, it's having the thoughts of suicide. You know, it's having those thoughts. You know, it makes me realize I have two kids. You know, I have a 13-year-old and a 19-year-old. One's in college and one's in 8th grade. And you know, knowing what my dad went through, what my cousin went through, you know, and seeing how, you know, especially my cousin I was really close with, seeing his kids, how they responded to it, you know, knowing I've had brothers and sisters that I've served with that are, you know, not here. So when I started thinking those thoughts, you know, it's put me in a bad spot, you know, constantly, you know, shutting my family out, not talking to them. You know, I sat down one day and I realized I'm like, what am I doing? You know, and when I moved down here and I found K9s For Warriors, you know, being a part of this organization is, you know, like I said, it's a godsend. It's, you know, it's one of those things that I have never worked for or an organization that cared for the people it cater to as much as they do here, and also how they treat their employees here. It's not just, you know, yes, we're here for the veterans and to help them get their dogs and, you know, get a better way of life, but they treat every employee here so well and take care of us, make sure we're, you know, well rested, or, you know, we have the right team in place, and, you know, everything. It's just, it's amazing. Like, I trying to find the words to explain it is hard because I've never worked in an environment like this.
I get it. I get it. Danny, what about you, man? What was your what made you decide this? Because you seem to like you said, you spent years hiding.
Yeah. So what made me decide to move forward and continue on, you know, like James put it, you know, I what I do for a living is I assist and support veterans and help them push themselves out of their comfort zone. So with that said, I try to do that with myself every single day. So what made me continue on to say, hey, you know what, I really want to make K9s For Warriors something that I do for the long term, and become part of this organization and the family, was just the fact that I almost became a statistic twice myself. So I have two attempts. What ensured that I did not follow through with my attempts once I failed were my children. I'm a single parent of three, and I've been trying to do it by myself for many years. Um, and once I saw that my kids really wanted their father back. So with that said, once I started seeing that I did have a purpose again, I did have the ability to give back to my, you know, my veteran community, and also educate the non-veteran community, you know, just educate on what we're going through and some of the things that we can receive in order to live a, you know, a great life. But, you know, I will tell you this, just yesterday alone, my kids came to me and said, Dad, you're always smiling. I didn't smile for like 7 years. So, you know, so to see little things like that, I'm like,
I was about to
okay.
say, you probably didn't smile for your entire career either.
I
Once you
didn't, that is true. But that's what, you know, just like James, it's just, you know, exactly like James said, we have those, you know, and James and I are able to sit here before you and discuss some of the things that we went through and some of the thoughts that we tried to fight off. There are many veterans out there that still haven't gotten to that point where they can speak
Uh-huh.
about it. And that's where we come in. Because at the end of the day, if I was able to get myself to this point and James was able to make that life decision and get himself to where he is, whatever when we do events like this or every class that we teach, if I help one to get out of that mindset the way I had to do it for myself, I wish I had someone to help me when it was happening to me. So since I didn't have anybody to help me, I don't want anyone else to go through that ever again. And I know James knows what I'm speaking about, because James and I has had many a conversations. So so he knows what I mean with that. But that's really why I continued on to give back, because there's, you know, you can't serve the people on your left and right through your military service, serve the people at home, and then get out and have no way to serve. So this is how we serve. And like James said, this isn't work for me. This is work. What I'm doing with you. What I do at the campus is not work.
Ah. Good. I'm glad I can make you work. This is important. I feel complete almost now, right? No, I like that. I feel that you don't, you like you said, talking about it now took you years to get to, right? But the first problem is even acknowledging it, because you don't.
Yes.
Whenever, like when we started doing this with you all a few times ago,
Mhm.
we were, a friend of ours was hosting a live stream for us, and they asked me like, what what do you think about this? And I was like, I don't know. I said, I think I felt like after I came out, I spent the first umpteen years, I was just annoyed with people and everything. I was just annoyed. I didn't know there was anything wrong. I was like, why are you so stupid? Like, it didn't matter what it was, right? It did not matter what it was. Why are you so dumb? Like, and at that point, I was like, not even joking. I was like, it's like, all you civilians are just, I don't even know what you are. Like, get away from me. Like, and I was like my brother. I'm like, get on my nerves, dude. Like, and they would look at me like baffled, like, why are you so angry? And I'm like, because you're stupid. Like I said, I think I was pretty clear, right? And by the way, I still do knife hand regardless. Everybody gets that, right? It's funny. People that, when I started having employees later in life, they were like, they call it the Sean Chop. I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, and I didn't realize it, but no, you spend years going through being irritated, I feel like. And I think that for people that are not understanding it, not external, but internal, like us, you don't know, you're not acknowledging. And we're told not to. We're told, rub some dirt on that and let's go back. There's no real processing this.
Well, we're trying to get past the stigma, because I know one big thing, and Sean, with the Army too, because I don't know about the Marines, James, but with the Army, they always said if it's not life, limb, or eyesight, you don't go to the doctor. There's no reason. If it's not those three categories, life, limb, or eyesight. But then, we have these conditions that we develop through, life experiences, whether in combat or not, it doesn't matter. Trauma is trauma. So when you have these experiences and then we get out, now why we're gonna get help for 8 years, 20 years, 5 years, doesn't matter. I've been told if it's not life, limb, or eyesight, don't go.
It absolutely, but it becomes habitual. It becomes
Yes.
habitual. How we do this is a discipline we develop from the habits that were formed, because again, you got to figure out how to adapt and overcome to everything regardless.
Yes,
There's
sir.
no, I think that's what's ingrained in us, right? And then it becomes hard for us to adapt and overcome. Never was about us adapting and overcoming, really, but making sure we help the people around us to do it, which made it easier for
Yes.
you to transition into that. I'm much more of a helper than I am anything else.
Yeah.
I feel like, so yeah, and again, but that doesn't serve our purpose when we're alone.
That is true.
But those nights are difficult.
Yeah, it's just like you said, we don't ask for help until we're ready, until we figure out that there is something wrong. We just don't ask for help. But what I've realized about my own journey that that I don't mind sharing with everybody is, I know when I don't get help, I'm stuck in a garage. When I get help, I'm helping others. So that's just the way I had to convince my own self to say, hey, get up. People are dependent on you. You have a purpose. It's time to move forward. So basically, that's just what everybody that's the trend that I see. Once everyone gets to our program, once we build that confidence in them again, and they have their service dogs, you just see them start coming out again. And it's so funny because James, he knows, after about 72 hours in the program, we start, all right, there you are. There's the real you starting to come out. So, it's just a thing that it's an organization, and it's something that James and I and both our teams on both campuses do month in, month out. So we do this. This is just what, and it's the same way that I tell every veteran that comes through. This is just what we do, Sean. This is what we do.
I get it. I love. Actually, we could talk all freaking day. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's like we're already we're almost in the barracks at this point. I feel like, oh my lord. Again, I live in Pittsburgh, so we're not a big military population here, and so a lot of my guys are everywhere around the globe, right? And I don't have it's funny that Xbox Live probably saved me, because I could talk to my friends on Xbox Live, because I got out 2003. So I still was buying phone cards. So that tells you that. So there you go, right?
Yeah.
I was still buying phone cards to call international and even some national, right? So like Xbox Live was free to talk to my friends, and it's funny because I don't know about you guys, but I didn't play a single military game or watch military movies forever. I was like so you said go to a Disney movie. I thought that was perfectly acceptable. I'm like, yeah. Yes, that's perfect. Like
Baby
I don't
steps,
watch,
Sean. Baby steps.
right? And Disney movies are fun. I'm past baby steps. I'm still watching. So who are you kidding? Like honestly, I didn't play a single military. And one of my best friends growing up, he didn't serve. And he's like, let's play Battlefield. I was like, why? That's stupid. And I played one time with him. He's trying to say, you're 6 o'clock. I'm like, what's 6 o'clock? What's north, south, east, and west? Let's start with that. I don't know what we're talking about. Like, you just can't yell out random stuff because you heard it in a movie, man. I'm on your 6. What's 6? I'm like, did we start in some formation I don't know about? It's a game, He's like, why do you keep running across and getting sniped? Because I don't care. It's a game. I don't really want to pretend like I'm living this real. No. So yeah, I remember seriously. I love this talk. Andrea, you've said nothing. You have to say something at some point. You have to involve yourself. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm laughing at all of your jokes per the usual. That's my job, right? Honestly, though, I've been trying. Like, there's literally nothing that I can contribute that would make this any more valuable. Like, I can't express my sincere gratitude for you both joining us. Sean, you too.
Oh, thanks.
You too.
No, you too.
Really. Like having you be able to share your story and your experience and just continue to educate the folks who are watching today. Like it really is incredible. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to, over the last couple of months, work with K9s For Warriors on this, I'll call it this project, but it's going to be much more than a project. I can certainly see that from our involvement as an organization. And just learning so much every conversation I have, and the two of you have provided so much more in that sense. And I just can't thank you enough for taking the time to be on and join us today. And yeah, I can't say anything outside of that, Sean. So
I feel like you did very well. Yeah, I think you did well, Andrea. And also, and to add to what Andrea said, though, yeah, this is more on a project. We already talked about this. Like typically, historically speaking, IT Nation, our company, they pick like different things over the years to try to support a different mission. But we like Andrea we've already kind of geeked out on like we're going to do this next year probably, and probably years to come. And our goal is we were like, oh yeah, 50,000, that's 2 dogs. I was like, well, I want like 4 dogs. How do we get 4 dogs, right? Like I literally wanted to be like, but we're gonna name them. That's the one caveat, that your word caveat I love, because the caveat is we get to name them, and they're gonna have the dumbest names. Like I want, especially the Air Force people, they deserve dogs with dumb names, because they were in the Air Force and they got better food, they have better barracks. If there's any way I can get back at them, and one thing in my hatred of that, just being jealous, it's
James and I seen some interesting names come through here. Yeah.
I could say for the Air Force thing, because when I met my wife, I was still active duty. She was active duty. She came to my base, saw my barracks. She's like, how do y'all live here? I'm like, I'm a Marine. I can sleep anywhere, anytime, but I'm like, y'all too used to that high class living in the Air Force.
Right? But I was at Fort Bragg when Pope was still there.
Yeah. Oh.
Man, I would finish PT and I would run and drive as fast as I could to go to Pope Air Force Base for chow, because they had the best. They had food. They had food. Like I knew what it was.
My MOS school was at an Air Force base, so I know how that is.
And it makes you realize you took the wrong branch, right? You're like, what did I do?
Honestly, if I could go back and do it again, I'd do it the same way. No different.
I don't know. I think I do the Air Force at this point. I pride that I was in the Army, but the fact of the matter is they had a really good life. And I don't know if you knew this, but like, so I went back and reclassed, so I was in like, they were like, oh yeah, because you reclassed, you get to go into a 4-man room instead of a bay. I was like, that's awesome. I felt like I was living like the high life. And then I was with some guys that were in the Air Force that were doing the same training with us, but they were staying in billeting, and they had their own apartment. And not just that, I'm like, and I went to the one guy's report. I was like, wow, this is such a nice place. And dude's like, yeah, they even pay me a stipend because this is below our living standards.
Oh yes, that is true.
Below your living standard? I got
That
a
is
wall
true.
locker, man. Like, I got a wall locker and a cot. You got like a queen size bed. Yeah, no. Yeah, I would go. Sorry, James, I can't agree with you. I'm going to the Air Force, dude. If I redid it, Air Force. All right, guys. Well, we're well over time, and we could keep going. We know we could. Like, so we'll have to do this like after dark or something at some point. Andrea, is there anything you want to add here?
Outside of thank yous, I just want to remind everybody who's watching the different ways that they can get involved pre-IT Nation Connect with monetary donations. And then, of course, on site at the event, we have a ton of different activities happening. Would love to see everybody there. But right now, the main thing you can do is head out to that link and help us raise some dollars for this really impactful and incredible organization.
Absolutely. James, any last words for you, man?
I appreciate y'all having us on here.
Thank you. Danny?
Thank you.
No, I would just like to say thank you for the opportunity to speak to everyone. And just if you know a veteran that is in need, we're waiting for them.
Can I just say how proud I am of the fact that you neither want to use the word reiterate one time, and that's
Hey, I'm a man. That's beyond my vocabulary.
Oh, that makes fair.
I'm so far removed from my military self that I'm having some problems with PowerPoint. I try to stay away from that at all costs. So
that's because you went over to the dark side of being in charge of things. That's why you don't see PowerPoint until you hit E6, and you get an IC at the end somewhere, right? Once an IC is added on, then it's like that means IC really stands for PP PowerPoint. That's what it is. Like, yeah.
But thank you so much for having us, and thank you for picking our organization.
Oh, you can. It's Andrea. She did it. Andrea did all that. I didn't even know you existed until she told me. So yeah, no. Hey, thank you all. Seriously, thank you for taking time. Thank you for sharing the story. I think that's the most important thing. If people understand the value of what it is, and that you guys are also, I feel like it's the men's hair club. Not only am I the president, but I'm a client kind of thing, right? That. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys sharing your stories. Seriously. I hope to see you guys. I hope that we are able to take it to a level where we're at your graduations. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
That's what I want to be. And I live in Pittsburgh, so I want to come down in the winter for that. So we're clear. No, thank you all. We look forward to doing more with you both and the organization. Seriously.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Doodles.